Hey guys, it's Sonia coming to you live this evening from Junk Monkey Paint Company from our shop here in Ligonier, Pennsylvania, just south of Pittsburgh. What's everybody up to today? Who's hanging out with me? Let's see. I have to think what day of the week it is. When you work for yourself and you work all kinds of hours, all kinds of days, sometimes you kind of forget what day it is. So somebody remind me, right? I think it's Monday. I'm pretty sure it's Monday. So anyway, it is Monday, and this piece behind me had the Monday blues. So I decided to give it just some new life, some new love, okay? And I wanted to come on here and put my camera on so you guys can watch what I'm doing, because number one, it might inspire somebody out there who's looking for just maybe a new paint technique, something different to use, or maybe you are in absolute love with this sort of blending style, which I love to blend my paints, okay? You guys know that I love my weathered style. Hey, finally Facebook popped in, and whoa, 23 of you guys, 25 are all on here. Hey Andrea, hey Shirley, hey Caitlin all the way from Florida. Thanks for being on here, ladies. I was beginning to wonder if we would have to do a reset because Facebook's being kind of wonky today, right? But anyhow, I'm glad you guys are on here with me. Keep chatting. Hopefully our chat box will keep working here. So I am on the floor in our shop. Some of you might recognize this piece behind me. Hey Lee, how are ya? My chocolate door friend. So on this piece behind me, some of you guys might remember it that we flipped it on Home Talk, I want to say maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and totally painted it in this part over here that you see, which is our Stormy Forest. Okay, it's a beautiful bluish green kind of color, right? Love it. Hey Margie, hey Teresa. And so anyway, I had left it here. I really felt like it needed something else, okay? And when I see a piece like this that just gives itself, like just basically says, offers itself up and says, Sonia, paint me. Look at all my beautiful detailing. I'm giving you all the hardware. Look, it's even got a little key space here, key lock, just all the detail that's in it. I'm like, I don't think I can just waste it on doing one plain color, although you can totally leave it like that if you want, right? So this is a piece I would have in my house and have it painted maybe a classic color for one season, and then be like, okay, we're gonna totally add on top of what we got going on, okay? So for those of you, anybody on here who saw me paint this piece in Stormy Forest, all I did was do it on Home Talk, paint it live really, really quickly, right? Like super, super quickly. I even put poly on the piece, okay? Started to do that part of it, but that's okay, because you know our paint will stick to the poly that's on the paint that you put on it before, right? So that doesn't scare me. But now I'm just going to add some new layers, some highlights. Hey Rebecca, oh thank you girl. Yes, you know what, playing with paint is so much fun. So much fun. Sometimes you have disasters, like, you know, paint tips over in the back of your car, lands on you, hence you have a paint shirt and now affectionately a paint mobile, right? That's what I call my car, my paint mobile, okay? Hey, Donna. Hey, you're cool too. Hey, Ashley. So anyway, it's so funny because I work with Caitlin, who's on here tonight, and she was saying how she was watching me do some detailing on a dresser, and it's so funny because sometimes you forget to other people what you do, like how it might inspire them or just be a little bit outside of their box. And she said to me, wow, like watching you do that, that's like totally watching a makeup video that you would see like on YouTube or something like that. You know, I was doing some darkening and highlighting, and she really got me starting to think about that. Like, you know what? This is absolutely right. It's like putting makeup on, right? Except we're putting it on a piece of furniture. So what the style I'm doing today has highlights and also some areas of like shading and darkening that's going on, okay? So think about, so I thought maybe from that perspective, you guys might even be able to like grasp it a little bit more, especially if you're into makeup, right? So the way I think about when I do highlighting and darkening, I'm really kind of making it look really decrepit and old and aged and distressed, which, you know me, I love that shabby style, so that's the look I'm going for. That's my favorite thing to do, to each their own, but that's my style that I gravitate towards. So always be you, because you will be best at what you do best, because you know what, you love it, right? You're passionate about it. So anyway, so kind of like in thinking about how you do makeup, when I'm working on a piece like this and I go ahead, hey Kathy, and put on like darkening colors, I'm gonna think in my mind that like all these, remember I've always said like view each part of your furniture that you're working on as pieces of a puzzle. So much like if you wanted a smoky eye, let's say, you use dark colors, right? And a lot of the creases and things like that. And what that does is it creates your eyes to be like, they're almost like they're sunk in more, right? There's more shading going on and really highlights the parts. But then you use the lighter colors to like underneath your eyebrows, to lift them, right? To make them look just look more pronounced, okay? So that's kind of how you want to think about it with paint as well. If you've ever seen like pictures, you probably never picked up on it before, but if you look at pictures, this is just a random print I have in my store right now behind me. It's a horse, but let's see if I can put it somewhere where you can see it. Right there, okay. Do you see how if the horse was painted entirely brown, it would look one-dimensional? But with that lightning that's going on right there on the very front of it, imagine that's where the sunshine is hitting it, right? That's where the lightning is going on, and that's how you kind of give it shape. So in my mind, I do the same thing when I paint furniture. So I'm going to take a lighter color and I'm going to put it like this. Has got some beautiful curves, right? Hey, Mary. Hey, Robin from North Dakota. Oh, girl, I'll tell you how I got this in just a second. So, so in my mind, I'm going to go with some lighter colors that are especially on the fronts of the drawers, okay? Darkening around the edges, lightening on the fronts, because what that's going to do is going to make those curves actually more pronounced, okay, versus all one solid color. So over here, I've got one solid color, but I've also done distressing with a sand block around the edges to give me that darkening. But now what I'm going to do is add in a couple more colors, okay? So I will show you what I'm going to do. Rachel, are you in my coaching group? Because actually, I'm pretty sure I posted it in there. I think you are, right? I'll go find it for you. So anyway, this is kind of where I am right now. So I'm going to take you through the other part, but this is where I started. So I've got the end done. I got this first section done, this section done. Not quite finished with it yet, right? Because it's all and basically I look at it all overall as a masterpiece. But now I'm going to work on this section, and that kind of brings me to the next thing, because I have to tell you that I like to keep it easy when I paint pieces and not have to invest a ton of money in products or anything like that, but also have like steps that are very, very easy and outlined. So you guys have known that we've had our black and brown antiquing glaze, right? Black and brown, just depending on the look you're going for. Most people gravitate towards browns hey Melissa, if they are going towards rustics and things like that, right? And then you have black as well. I don't have my black with me, but black gives you more of a dramatic look, okay? Because it's black, it's like intense, right? So the newest color, the newest patina, we'll call it, the newest glaze. This is a highlighting glaze, which I'm super excited. I'm going to be putting this up in our Shopify tonight over at junkmonkeypaint.com. But basically, this is what I use to get all those beautiful lights that's going down here, all those light shades, okay? So if you've used our brown glaze, I'm going to show you how you can use brown glaze, not just to go all over a piece, but just to kind of do some edging in a piece as well to make your piece stand out different, okay? So inside here is a color that is absolutely gorgeous. And let me pull it back so you can see it. Can you see that? So if you were up close to it right now, it is just a beautiful, I'm trying to think, a green teal, okay? Like a beautiful green teal. And it goes amazing with blues. If you guys are ever trying to figure out like what colors would go best, what colors would play off of each other, I encourage you to get what's called a color wheel, okay? Or go online or something. But if you go to like places like Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's, all those kind of craft places, they have a color wheel. And one night maybe I'll do a live and show you how to work it. But basically all the primary colors are there, and it shows you like, you know, which ones play well off which ones, and you know, colors that you don't want to mix because you really want them to really, really pop, right? Depending on the look that you're going for. So I will tell you that blues go beautiful with yellows. That's kind of what you're seeing in here as well. And then plus I have this beautiful highlighting patina, and I'll show you how I bring it together, okay? So for the base of this, I'm using our Stormy Forest, which has been painted for like a couple weeks now. So if you already have a painted piece going down, you know what? Just do these extra steps and you can totally bring it to life in a total other different look, right? You guys know I love my weathered look. This is a look I do with the base already dry, okay? So let me see here. Let's see here. Can you guys see that right where we are? So I'll show you how I bring this to this, all right? So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my highlighting patina, my glaze. It's just a pretty teal color. All right, and now I'm going to dip my brush in. Now I will tell you that when I do this look, I'm going to actually switch up to a different brush. The two brushes I use are my favorite, my shabby chip brush. And then I have found this awesome set of brushes that I love for blending for this sort of look, okay? And I'll post the link when I'm done. It's $14 and change for two of these, all right? One's a little bit more bigger, one's a little bit more smaller, but it's actually got like a circular type shape to them. These are not 30, $40, $50, $60, $70 brushes. I'm sorry, I just could not bring myself to do that. But I could pay $14 for 2 brushes, $7 a piece, and use them over and over again, okay? So I'll show you how I use my shabby, but also how I use my brushes here as well, okay? And I'll put that link up. So let me just make sure I get that wet again. So what I'm gonna do when I look at my piece is like the pieces of a puzzle, okay? I'm just gonna go ahead and start on it. Because this brush is round, it can give you some really nice rounded edges. And like I say, I'm going right over my piece that I already painted with and already sealed as well. That's okay, it's never too late, right? It's never too late. I'm gonna put a little bit on my hardware as well because I want it to all play up together. And what I'm doing is imagine, okay, let me think about how I can say this. Just imagine all the pieces, basically trace out the shape of your piece, okay? Trace out the shape of your piece. That's all I want you to do. Just like, you know, when you were, I remember, like I used to be really big into coloring books growing up, and I would basically color my piece in with crayons, and then I would take a marker and I would trace the outline over. Did anybody ever do that? Anybody ever do that? It was just me, because it would make like your picture like pop off the page, right? So this is kind of what I'm doing. I'm just basically, like I said, I'm just tracing the shapes of what I got going on. I want to make sure that I'm bringing some of that into the very, like closer to the center of my bigger box here, because I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay, but basically I'm putting this down as much as I want. But I do want to bring it in. And so there's already some distressing going on down here, and that's because before I even sealed it, I had done some distressing with a sand block. And you guys know that I just use these medium grit sand blocks. They're awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. I really appreciate that. Thank you so, so much. When you do share, it does go to your time page too, so if you ever need to see these steps again, okay? So anyway, really easy, right? I've just gone all over it. I'm going to do a few little, basically anything that's left on my brush, I'm going to do a few wipes in the center as well, okay? There you go. Hey, Monica. Oh, yay. No kidding, right, Monica? Girl, seriously. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm that person as well. I remember the first time I went in, and this is how the paint was born, how I went into a local store to buy some paint that I had heard about, and I had to leave empty-handed because I really could not afford to even buy one can of color, and that is an honest-to-God true story. Absolutely. All right, so that's okay, Christine. I'm going to show you how I do it. So, Stormy Forest, we're going to trace out basically like the parts of a puzzle with our round brush, with our teal looking glaze patina for highlighting. We're going to make sure we get kind of some in the center and a few strokes down. Just pull off your brush, okay? Boom, we are done. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my brown glaze. You guys know we've had this already for a long time. And you can go all over with a piece of brown glaze, but I'm going to use it a little bit differently today and show you how I do it. So I just put some on the very center, on the very bottom of my brush again, okay? And now I'm going to do the very same thing. I don't want to get too far out here. Remember how I told you that antiquing happens in the background? So like that smoky eye, we want to keep it in the creases and the crevices, okay? So basically, go ahead and you're going to slide it all over that puzzle piece, all over that shape of what you just did. And you'll see, you can learn to add more to it if you want, but I'm just going to basically just make it look like pieces. And it's going to have that darkening going down all over the edges. And I'm thinking this would be beautiful if you had, like, for the colors that we have, if you even wanted to use like a blue slate, or a Liberty blue, because like I say, blues and yellows go great together, okay? So I've done that area. Now what I'm going to do is take my brown and go do this inside, but I'm not going to go all the way to the center, right? I'm just kind of going to darken it around the edges a little bit. There's no wiping off with like cheesecloth or anything like that. That's another way you can use glaze. But I want to just bring it around like this. And the other thing is too, when you're, I should do this, because my hardware right now, I left it copper the last time that, that I did this piece in blue. Now that I'm changing it up, this would look really good if I were to take these off and even spray paint them in the dark. But I'm actually going to do a bit of a wash with this glaze over them anyhow, just kind of leave it sit and let that dry because I want to mellow it out, right? So if I have, like, if I want a piece to look really, really old, I don't want the hardware to look super, super shiny, right? And then anything that's left on my brush, pull it through the center. Straight down, because that's the shape of it, right? So I did round ways, and then pull it straight down, and there we go, okay? It's starting to already take on some life. And then once that's set up, if you want to add some more, you can go on top of it, and you can darken it as much as you want in any areas that you want. Okay, what do you guys think so far? I think it's really, really cool, right? Oh my goodness. So, Deb Diane, I used Stormy Forest. I let that dry. Then I just used my highlighting patina, my glaze. Then I used my darker brown glaze over the top of it just to get the edges. And now what I'm going to do is actually grab some midnight blue, okay? So remember how I said blues go really gorgeous with yellow. So we have a really dark navy that I like to use. Now what I'm going to do is a little trick with my shabby chip brush, because you know that I can't go far without a shabby chip brush, right? So I'm just basically dipping it into my actual Junk Monkey, it's called Midnight Blue, paint. You could also use black. Black would be really nice too. And now what I'm going to do is give it some definition. So that black, that brown, and those highlights, they come together so pretty. Again, don't forget to hit all the highs of your hardware, everything. All I'm doing is putting my brush on an angle, and I'm just dragging over the edges to make them pop. So this is a really deep, dark navy. Catching the edge with my brush. I'll do the top later here in just a little bit, right? But do you see how it's starting to really come together? So this is my darkening right here. So what I tend to do is just hit the edges, right? Just like you put eyeliner on your eye. You've got some colors, you've got your brown, you've got your lightener, you know what I mean? Now you're going to use some eyeliner and some mascara, okay? This is what this darkness is. And my husband's probably over there like, what the heck? What the heck is she talking about? I thought she was painting furniture, now she's talking about makeup. That's what all it is. Okay, so all I did was make some of those pieces pop, right? Exactly. Each layer makes it more beautiful. It does, Linda. It all comes together because, you know, when you're going for that distressed look, it's because distressed style comes from lots of layers over the years that are just maybe subject to some weather, and all of a sudden now they're peeling back and they're starting to expose everything, right? So when I'm done with putting some black on here, I'm also just going to take my, not black, I'm sorry, navy, and I'm just going to put a few little swipes, okay? I haven't put any more paint on my brush. I'm just, and you see what I did there? I'm also the hand wiper, so this is why I'm always covered in paint. So if I put a little bit in there, I'll just swipe with my fingers to really just blend it down a little, even a little bit further. Okay. See, and of course in the corners is where you would have, again, that darkening going down, because that's where dust settles, right? So that's going to basically imitate darkness going down where the dirt would have collected. So this is one of those pieces, if you don't dust, nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know. All right, so the next thing I do is give it one more color. So we've used the navy. Now we're going to use our sunshine yellow, because yellow goes awesome. And that gives it another punch of color, okay? So it's those layers that go down. So we got the highlighter, we got the darkening, and now we're going to take a little bit of the yellow, and my friends, this is like so fun, okay? Again, laying my brush on the side and just giving it some really cool punches of yellow. Can you guys start to see that? Let's see, does it really show up where I put my brush? So again, I'm just dipping my brush down in. I'm pulling off a lot. You know, I'm pulling off a lot. And then what I'm going to do is just do this. Just trace out some of my edges. So you know the parts where we put that dark navy, just a few pieces to like
that's showing through. You can put yellow. You can put as much on as you want, but I will tell you this color combo is really pretty because in the world of painting, and like I say, if you get yourself a color wheel, you too can start to learn like which colors will really, really play off of each other. I think this is stuck. There we go. Okay. And then likewise, when I'm done with that yellow, what I'm going to do is anything that's left on my brush, basically a dry brush, okay? So I'm just going to, honestly, I just put a little bit on, just do a nice swipe, just to kind of pull it around my piece a little bit. And it really just dulls down, right? Some parts of it looks really, really vivid that I have on the edges. Here we go. And now for the middle, I'm going to do a couple of swipes. You guys know I always teach you that when you work with pieces of furniture, paint with the grain of the wood, okay? So right now, this is looking more bluer in the center. We've got our highlighting glaze and our darker glaze around the edges. And then I'm just going to bring that yellow that I've kind of like put on some of the highs of the dresser so it really pops, but I'm going to drag it straight down, okay? I'm not going to go around with this part of the brush. I'm just going to pull it down and just add some straight up and down to play up the actual shape of the piece. And look how pretty that looks already. So I can kind of like shake some out of my brush if I want. But you can't go wrong with blue and yellow. So like over here, I was working on that just a little bit earlier in the time leading up. And by the way, don't forget when you're putting your yellow on, I also like to hit the handles as well. So you put a little bit of navy on there. Pull it all together. Don't be afraid to paint your hardware, right? There we go. How pretty is that, right? Already starting to come together. So easy. So like I say, add in as much yellow as you want to give it some highlights. Cancel it out with another color if you feel you put too much on. No biggie. And then like I say, you would use your navy. Let me go back to my navy brush. If I want to just kind of like, and I don't want to actually put too much on my brush, but like up here, this would be darker, right? I can see this being darker. It's in the shade. It's got an overhang. This corner is going to be darker up here. So I'm going to add a little bit more over here. So remember, use your highlighter to make things pop forward, and then use your dark to get in all the edges and to really make it seem recessed and sit back, okay? And then you can add some darkening, some more darkening wherever you want. You've got all those colors that come together, and then a few final swipes in the center because we put that yellow down. I really like it. There we go. There we go. You put as much as you want, right? And have fun with it. After all, it's your piece, so you get to determine if you want more of a certain color. Let me just put a little bit of some definition in here again. And there we go. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Now if I were to let this dry, you guys can see it. If I were to let this dry, if there's any colors, like for example, if I want to go back over it again with the antiquing glaze, I can, okay? So I can dip my brush and I can retrace over some of those parts. And what will happen is with every layer that you put on, it keeps getting just more definition, right? It just pops more. So I'll show you it real quick. So all I would do now is everything is dried. I would dip my brush back into the glaze. I'll do this as an example because I love you guys. All right. So let's say, for example, I wanted to make this pop again even more, okay? Then what I would do is go back over it again. You see how it gets darker? You see how it gets darker? So remember, basically tracing out your piece like you're going to color it in a book. And you just want to trace over your project to really make all those beautiful lines pop. So the more I sit here and mess with it, you know, I can go all kinds of colors, but like I say, I want to make the hardware as well feel really like a part of it. Or I could go totally different and get myself some, take the hardware off and then maybe do them, like spray paint them in a really cool dark color. That would be so pretty as well. So I've got the other side done around the corner, all the way up here. Now I've got to work on the other side, and I've got to take all my stuff off at the top. This is my cow I painted recently. Do you love her? She's sitting on the top. I've got to put her over there. She even has a rosette. Like, how pretty is that, right? But to talk about what I was saying to you guys earlier, when you do paint, when you do anything, whether it's on canvas or whether it's on furniture, you always want to think that, you know, where you put the light is how you give shape to a piece, okay? Versus it looking all flat. So you can have fun with it. All right, so can I answer any questions for you guys before I go about this technique? Oh, thank you for sharing. Listen, this is a beautiful technique and it is so easy. So for those of you who asked, just paint your piece first. Go ahead and get yourself brown antiquing glaze. It's only $6.95. Listen, I use like a smidge out of here, right? This goes forever, especially when you use it in this style versus going all over with your piece and rubbing it off, right? That sort of thing. Lori, the base color I used was our Stormy Forest. It's like a blue-green color. So, yeah, just let that dry. Then you want to, I'm sorry, I think I said that differently. So you put your base color down. You're going to go grab one of our new highlighting glazes. It's a beautiful teal color. It's gorgeous. Goes with blues, beautiful colors it goes with. Reds, you name it. We'll do some fun stuff over the next few days. So anyway, you put that on. Again, you want to bring it more towards the center because that's how you want the centers of your drawers to pop as an example. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to take your brush and you're going to put it into the brown, which gives it that old rustic look. And you're going to want to stay up more towards the outsides of the edges, okay? Make sense? And then on top of that, I just did a little detailing. I did a little eyeliner on this piece, okay, to make that even pop even more. And I used my navy, which is, our color is called Midnight Blue, and then I used our Sunshine Yellow. So it was so, so easy. Yes, Ashley, honestly, when I get off of here, I am going to go and put it up on our Shopify storefront, which is at junkmonkeypaint.com, and you'll see it there. It's a really, really pretty teal. Sometimes I know it's hard for colors to come across on Facebook, but I'm just going to tell you, this color right here is absolutely amazing. It is so, so pretty. Nope, Linda, it's going to go up there right now as soon as I'm done. So anyway, I'm just going to finish up the side, the top, and then tomorrow when it's really nice, I'll put it outside, stage it, and take a really, really pretty picture. And then I'm sure somebody will love on it, and I'll put a price tag on it, and they can have it for Christmas and enjoy it in their home, right, as a statement piece. So you'll take my word for it. Yes, absolutely. Jen, as soon as I'm off here, I'm going to go ahead and put it up. This is the one you're going to want to look for. We have a brown, we have a black. Now this is what we call our highlighting glaze, right? So this is the color that I went with because I think it will give you guys a lot of effects that you will probably really enjoy for being on my page and for kind of like listening to the styles that you guys like. And so it's a great way to brush on to give highlights to a piece and just to make your piece really, really different, right? It doesn't have to be all one color after all. You can have fun with it. There you go. Do the sides and top the same? Yes, absolutely. Let me see if I can show you over here real fast. So I did the side, the same process. And I will link to these brushes for you guys as well when I get off of here so that if you want to get that, because I think that if you're somebody who paints, you should get one. Get that set for $14 because it's all water-based, right? So you can wash it over and over again. So if you're like me, you keep your stuff forever, or at least it feels like forever. And my husband's like, seriously, do you still have life left in that? And I'm like, yeah, it might be rusted, but you know what? It still works fine, right? So yeah, I've already done the side over here. Can you guys see that? There you go. So anyway, that side is drying. And then you can kind of, once you're all done, then you can take a step back, right? And you can add a little bit of darkening here or there just to kind of get a big overview, because sometimes it's easier when you're done to stand back and go, oh, I need to add a little bit more there. You know, it's like Bob Ross Happy Tree, right? We just need another tree over here, another tree over here. So easy. Oh my gosh. Hey, Matt, would you pass me over my Bob Ross Chia pet? It's right over there behind the register. So I have to tell you that I found one of Matt's Christmas gifts for me. And he looks at me like, yes, the joy of painting right here. I think, my friends, tomorrow we should come on and we should watch Bob's fro grow and see how long it takes his hair to grow, okay? I think that we should totally do that. I think that would be so fun. So that'll be tomorrow. He wasn't so happy I found one of his gifts for me, but aha! It was like one of those things you could not see either. It was like he knew as well as I knew as soon as I popped the lid of his car, you know? So easy. All right, well, I'm going to jump off of here. So let's see, tomorrow, no, I was going to say tomorrow on Home Talk. We're not. That's Thursday night at 8 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow, when I'm done here now, believe it or not, I have to head over to our warehouse. I'm going to be putting the last layer of color on some kitchen cabinets that I'm working on. And tomorrow will be the big reveal. Tomorrow is my last day for kitchen cabinets. And it's a beautiful, beautiful set. You just wait. It's like Black Island creamy goodness cabinets. And she's a DIYer. She's actually on my page here, and it's obvious because it's so funny when I paint kitchen cabinets for people who the people who are on my page, when as soon as I go to their house and I'm like doing the drive-by, like, do they live here? Is it this number? Is it this number? I can totally tell them because they are the ones that have like the beautiful, you know, like the welcome, the chairs outside, the decorations on the side of the house, right? You guys are warm and welcoming people. But anyway, she's been working on some really cool DIY projects. So tomorrow we'll do a kitchen cabinet reveal, probably around supper time here on the page at Eastern Standard Time. And then she's gonna let me take you through her house to show you some really cool DIYs that she's been working on, right? So it'll be so fun. All right, so I'm gonna pop off of here. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys, the layers that I showed you how to do this today. It's done, it's so easy, and I can add as much as I want, you know what I mean, to get the look that I want, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and seal it, and when I'm ready to seal it, I'm going to use my polyacrylic. For those of you who wonder which sealer you could use, we make our paint where you can do the polyacrylic, you can do whatever you want, wax, you name it. Sometimes people enjoy just the wax. You know, I always say I'm a polyacrylic girl, and I really learned to master it, but if you feel like it's a little bit hard for you to master, then I encourage you to just go get some paint, you know what I mean? And not paint, I'm sorry, go get some wax and give it a try and see how it goes. It's so easy to use, you know, at the very end of the day, you want to be able to paint. You're going to be most creative and do your best work when you feel like you're in control of the products and you really know what you're doing, right? So for some people, waxing might even be easier than using the poly. So it's all up to you. All right, the gunk remover for cabinets. You're probably talking about crud cutter. I talk about that for furniture a lot. I do some different steps when I paint cabinets because cabinets are in it for the long haul, right? Plus, everybody's cabinets are really different. They're exposed to moisture and water and lots of use. I do have a cabinet video, so as I clue up all these 70 kitchen cabinet sets, I've kind of done a brain dump of the knowledge. And after, let me just tell you, over years of just using different products, you begin to hone in on the ones that are the very best. So if you want to check that video out, all you have to do is go to my website at styleshabby.com, click DIY videos, and it's available for immediately to view it. You just set yourself up right there. All right, well, I will talk to you guys later. I'm gonna go get that highlighting glaze up so you guys can begin to have some fun with it, and I will see you soon. Take care, my friends. Bye. Thank you, Lisa. See ya.